All right, it's going to ask you if it's okay to record, or I don't even think it asks you. I think it just tells you. Anyway, well, welcome in my CrossFit Loveland fam and everyone else tuning in. The lighting in here is kind of bad, so I'm really not that tired, but it is what it is. Cool. So we're going to go over kind of our goal setting today. Like I kind of mentioned in the email, we believe more in creating habits, in good habits that sort of support the people that we want to become. Throwing up a goal on the board is great. However, if we don't possess those qualities to ever achieve that goal, we're always going to let ourselves down, and then we're just going to be working backwards or just spinning in that hamster wheel the whole time. So, for us, it's important to develop these habits that we can sustain over and over and over again. And regardless what route we want to go with our goals, whether it's something big like trying to make millions of dollars or something as simple as trying to get to the gym 3 times a week, this sort of carries over to more, pieces of our lives. So we're going to dive into that. First, what we're going to do though is we're going to dive a little bit more into, we have our core values back here. Today, we're going to talk about confidence and sort of how confidence relates to creating goals and creating habits and how we follow through with them. Because a lot of the times we see ourselves sort of, as soon as we get into any sort of roadblock or obstacle, we sort of just forget what we're doing, think of ourselves as failures. That's not who we are. So I'm going to share our screen here. Boom. There you go. Beautiful. So for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to kind of be talking over, we're going to have like a component of such where we're going to talk about, being confident. We're going to go over confidence and how it sort of relates to our goals. And then we're going to work on the exercise for the day or for the week. So confidence is an essential behavior as you chase down any goal. It allows you to become self-reliant, committed, resilient, and focused. Not having it can cause you to doubt yourself, act unfair, sell yourself short, and worst of all, give up, right? So, confident, it's so easy for us to say like, just be more confident. Well, how is it that we do that? And so as we sort of work into our day and then we have these goals, and we can have big goals, that's not the issue, but it's just how is it that we attack it, and right next to habits, it's creating those habits, but also having the confidence in what you're doing, because that's going to carry us through the days that we just want to sort of give up, or we think our goal's too big, or anything that's really holding us back from wanting to be more. So as we sort of, how can we be more confident? The first and my favorite is just to take action. Okay. Action gets you moving. Once you start moving, it's hard to overthink anything or talk yourself out of doing something, right? A lot of us, we can relate this to coming to the gym, especially you 5 a.m. people, is the hardest part is just getting outside the door, because once you're there, you have no choice. You can't overthink yourself. You can't drive up to the gym and be like, man, I'm super tired. I think I'm just going to go home, right? That's not how it really works. For us, once we get moving and take action, it's really, really, really hard for us to think about excuses or give ourselves reasons why we shouldn't be doing this. Same thing in the middle of the workout. We have some really tough workouts that it would be easy for us to give up. However, in the middle of it, that's the last thing we're sort of thinking of. All that we're thinking of in that moment is how can I continue to work through this task? What is sort of my next step? What is my next phase? So, as we talk about it, actions create results, and you gain more confidence from seeing results. I think a lot of this personally, I can relate to COVID. I had no idea what I was doing during COVID, but there wasn't time for me to think. There wasn't really much time for us to create a plan. There was no time for us to really think like, man, what's going to be the best plan of attack? For us, it was action. And, that's when we started loaning out equipment to everybody. That's when we did, Zoom workouts. That's when we created, 3 separate workouts, because that's what we felt was the right step. Now, fast forward, something that's really unique about us is that we have a flow and a build day. And flow and build essentially came from COVID, because we were giving 3 separate workouts a day. So something even just in relatable in that sense is we took action. We decided that we weren't going to sit back and sort of just say like, hey guys, we'll freeze your memberships, just kind of do your thing. No, I mean, we wanted to invest in you guys and continue to provide you guys with a great experience. So we did what we have to. So taking action above all else will always create the confidence you need, because as you start taking more action, you're going to see what works and what doesn't work. And we're going to kind of dive into that here in a sec. The second thing is affirmations. Okay, so this can be super cheesy. I know, I get it. But affirmations are positive statements that can help you challenge your negative thoughts. When you repeat them often and believe in them, you start to become more confident. We're going to get into language next week. And that's a really, really important thing for us. And I think for my personal development, that's been extremely, extremely helpful with becoming the person who I want to become, right? It's so easy for us just to look at ourselves and say what's wrong with us, right? It's easy for me to say like, oh man, I'm not as good as Kinsey, or, you know, I wish I'm a failure because I don't work out every day like other gym owners. That negative energy and negative mindset is going to hold me back from being confident in myself, right? Rather, if I'm telling myself like I am a successful business owner, or, you know, I'm a resilient human, those statements just allow me to become more confident. So say, even if I am in a situation where people are like, well, how much do you work out, Manny? And I'm like, man, you know, not as much as I want to, but that's because I really enjoy coaching other humans and I'm really focused on growing the business rather than me tearing myself down. So affirmations is another way for us to become more confident, because we listen to what we tell ourselves, and whatever we tell ourselves is what we give off. And that's how other people treat us, right? It's all too often where, you know, people who have low self-esteem or whatever the case are typically taken advantage of, because that's almost like they're allowing the world to treat them how they see themselves. And that's not what we want. So to build more confidence, build yourself up. Even if it's something that you don't believe in now, guarantee you, the more you say it, and as it says here, when you repeat them often, you will continue to believe yourself. And then the last thing, you know, related to taking action is to fail. I cannot tell you, and I've been so open and honest, how much failure has given me what I have right now. There were so many cases in my life where I failed, but because of those failures, I learned so much more. And that's exactly what we're saying. You'll learn far more from failing than you will from succeeding. If you were to take a huge success in your life or a huge failure in your life, I guarantee you're going to find more points from failure than from succeeding, right? It's like, you know, what did you do right? Well, when I succeeded, I think I did X. Where failure, you're like, man, I could have done this better. I could have done this different, or I know I need to improve on this. There's far more areas that you can sort of get feedback from failing to then propel yourself not to fail in the future. And to be completely honest, like, you know, we view failure as such a bad thing, but the more that we fail, the easier it becomes for you, and the more you're willing to fail because of how much you're learning from it, right? And that's not saying just go out and fail. That's not saying, you know, keep trying for a 1 rep max because you're going to learn something from it. Absolutely not. But there is value in just being comfortable with stepping outside your comfort zone and knowing that you're probably going to fail. However, you're going to gain so much insight from this failure. So those are going to be the 3 pieces how I personally want or am able to become more confident, by taking action, telling myself I'm the man, and then failing often. So as we think through these goals and as we get into the new year and we start implementing these goals, habits, we're going to fail. But the idea is you need to get back, you need to take action, and you need to continue to drive to yourself what you're capable of and the person you are. So we'll keep these things in mind. Now, for the exercise that we're going to do first, I did provide a sheet for you guys in our drive. In that drive, you will find that's where all of our sheets are going to be. So you guys can either say this is a copy and you guys can type on it, or you guys can, you know, take it out. Writing is always good. But so the idea for this exercise is to give you a clear understanding of the life that you want to live, right? We are happy, we are content. I am personally happy and content where I am right now. If I was to die tomorrow, I know like I would be fulfilled, right? However, sometimes we get so caught up in like, this is what I have, I need to be grateful for what I have, that we don't take time to really understand what we would love to do, what we want to live. This not fairy tale life, but just this extraordinary life that we want to live, because we know, hey, I'm probably never going to make $1 billion, so I shouldn't live this quote unquote $1 billion lifestyle. Or, I'm not going to own 20 CrossFit Lovelands, so I'm not going to have that mindset. Like, that's sort of foolish, right? I would much rather us think big and think way outside the box and just be okay with, you know what, I'm good, right? This is a good life I have. I really don't feel like doing much else. No, be unreal. So what this perfect day also helps us out is it sorts out the goals that want to get us there. Let's just say my perfect day consists of working out at CrossFit Loveland. So because my day consists of being here at the gym working out, my goal would be to create fulfilling careers for coaches, so I'd be able to take the time for myself and actually work out. Does that make sense? So as we sort of dive into this perfect day, I want you to imagine what that would look like for you. If everything worked out exactly as you hoped, get creative, be unreasonable, focus on what you want in life without worrying if it's possible, right? Write this out as if you were doing it now, as if you woke up tomorrow and your perfect day would be here. And be specific, right? I'm going to give you guys a ton of prompts that you guys can sort of help spark what your day would look like, right? Not just like, oh, I'd wake up and, I'd drink some coffee and then I'd hang out and then I'd eat dinner and go to bed. Like, no. Something that's also very helpful too is this is sort of writing exercises. Find a quiet place, find some time, turn up your favorite music and, get to writing. And as I said, it could be limitless. You can even take out scratch piece of paper. Doesn't really matter. So as you're sort of working through this perfect day exercise, these are some of the prompts that I want you to sort of look at. Where would you live? What would your house look like? Where would you spend the first, half of the day? What would your friends be like? Relationships with your spouse, family, who would you eat with? Just think about what that day looks like, and if that day looks like, heck, traveling to 3 different cities in one day on your private jet, say it. What color is your jet? So get really creative, guys. This was very, very helpful and insightful as I was sort of involved in propelling my my career in the gym and whatnot. And this did sort of allow us just to take what we want, and then we're going to sort of work back from this. So as I said, on the Google Drive that I gave you, if you guys come to, the 22.1, this is the same thing we just went over. It gave you guys plenty of space. As I said, if you guys wish, you guys can print it off and kind of do this on your own sheet. You guys can type it, whatever sort of makes sense to you. So yeah, that's going to be kind of option 1, right? And don't try to write this all at once. I mean, take your time, think about what would a perfect morning look like? What would a perfect lunch look like, afternoon? And it's going to change, right? Not every day is going to be the same, but what does that typical day look like? So that's going to be your first assignment. If you guys can do that, you guys do not have to share this with anybody. If you'd like to share it with me, I'd love to listen to this. I always love to see where people want to go and what sort of makes them happy and fulfills them. So if you guys can do this, and then next week, we're going to take this perfect day, and we need to have this perfect day to then break down our goals for next week. So that's all I got. Do you guys have any questions for me as of now? You can type them in the box. You can turn your microphone back on if that's not clear. No. All right. You guys, nope. Perfect. That works. All right. Well, that was a quick one. Like I said, next week's going to be a little more in depth. This one's more of an exercise for you guys to sort of write on. So just take your time, guys. Have fun. Be creative. Be unreal, like legit unreal. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Shoot me a message. You can email me at manny@cfloveland.com. Other than that, that's all I got, guys. Remember to always be more. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.